Yeah. Okay. Well, that sucked. Knicks lose Saturday night on ABC to the Los Angeles Lakers in LA, in a game that, hmm, hmm, I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the season is going to be. They may end up tanking this baby down the stretch, and you know this game won't matter. But if they do wind up missing the play-in by a game or something, I think of all the games that we've already seen this year, this will probably be the one that they'll remember, for a few reasons. Obviously, some good stuff to talk about in this game. I have Mr. Crow joining me here because RJ Barrett just had a new career high. Um, Crazy shot to not a crazy shot, just a really big shot to tie the game, send it into overtime. So that's great for him. We'll talk a lot about him over the course of the live stream. Of course, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited. But then again, he should have never had to hit a shot to tie the game to get it into overtime because the Knicks should have won this one. I'm not going to say the Knicks should have won this one going away. My um, my takeaway from this is that the Lakers won this one at least as much as the Knicks lost it. I mean, what's frustrating that the Lakers have like five playable players. Of course, one of those players is maybe the greatest player of all time, or one of the two or three greatest players of all time. Anthony Davis is pretty good himself, and Malik Monk tonight looked like a guy who's going to get paid a lot of money from someone, maybe the New York Knicks this summer. Who knows? And then Austin Reeves and Austin Reeves was kind of the I don't know. Was Austin Reeves the fourth best player in the Lakers? I think, and that's about it. Ariza hit some shots, and Horton Tucker hit a shot. But yeah, that's the frustrating part. Is like the Lakers are not a deep team, and they spotted the Knicks at 21-point lead. But at the same time, and this is where all the frustration is going to come from tonight, the Knicks earned that 21-point lead with they played with pace, they played with purpose, they passed, they moved, they were fast. Um, Assists out the wazoo. And it also obviously helped that they were making shots. I find it very, you can't write this stuff. The Knicks made 5 threes in the first 4 minutes of this game. They made 6 threes in the remaining 49 minutes of this game. Uh, if you want to boil the loss down to one stat, I think that is probably it. There were some other things that they did wrong. Started at the end of the second quarter, certainly carried over to the third quarter, where the offense, I'm not going to say it completely bogged down. I'm not going to blame it on any one person. Randle reverted back to some not great Randle habits, although on the whole he had a good game. I'm not going to say a very good game. On the whole, I think he had a good game. Um, but they stopped playing with pace. They stopped playing with that same purpose. And on offense, I thought defensively they competed pretty much the whole night. Although there were a few, I actually felt that the low points defensively actually came in the first half, where they were hitting everything, and then they would have a possession here or a possession there where they kind of let up defensively. But look, on the whole, they just got beat by a team with LeBron James playing the way LeBron James is capable of playing, Anthony Davis playing the way Anthony Davis is capable of playing, and again, Malik Monk just kind of going off. He was really great. And the Knicks didn't hit shots. They didn't hit shots. They shot under 30% from three for the game. They shot barely above 40% from two for the game. Missed 10 free throws. Have some costly, untimely turnovers. It all adds up. And I know the Lakers have a ton of issues made evident tonight. But still, when you have top end talent, you kind of do need to play pretty good. And, on the whole, for as good as they played over those first 20, 22 minutes, didn't play a complete game. And they lost. Very disappointing. Really wanted them to win this game. Especially, I mean, God, that shot from RJ was just like, I lost my shit there for a minute. Yeah, but that's this team. That's, again, there are so many games where you watch it and you're like, yeah, there's the 21-22 New York Knicks in a nutshell. And this was one of them. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm going to get to the super chats. Just kind of deflated. It was a really deflating loss. The way they lost it was deflating. But we'll try to keep it a little bit more positive than I am right now because again, RJ, really great game. I know he kind of probably tired down the stretch because hey, he played 50 minutes. That's 5-0. 50 minutes, 36 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Missed some shots down the stretch, but listen, what can you do? He was great. Okay. Yes, definitely. I'll before I read the first super chat, I'll read what Andrew wrote, which get the likes up, helps us out. And here we go. Robert Cross, I believe, with our first comment in the super chat. Dead ass tired of Tibbs developing Burks, Noel, Fournier, etc. Third quarter rotations were asked. Losing my patience with him. Wow. I did not hashtag 53 wins, of course. I did not expect this to be a fire Tibbs game, but here we go. I don't really know what direction he was supposed. The only thing that was really noticeable to me was I thought Noel played a little bit too many minutes. Noel played 23 minutes. Mitchell Robinson played 30. Noel really cost them, especially in the third quarter where Anthony Davis was just kind of eating his lunch. But I get the sense he's trying to play Mitch in these short bursts, especially in a game like this, very high paced game. Mitch's conditioning is not where it needs to be. Is not where it needs to be. He admitted that after the last game. And you saw it down the stretch. I mean, Mitch's effectiveness, especially as this game went on, was not where it needed to be. And then, I don't know who else, like Quickly was terrible in the first half. He didn't play in the second half. He was terrible in the first half. And Grimes ended up the night 0 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 4 from deep. I don't know. I'm a longtime Alec Burks defender. I know he made some usual boneheaded plays. He missed some shots, but I thought Alec Burks was fine. Commensurate Alec Burks game. I didn't think he was terrible. And again, it's like, where are you going? Fournier hit some shots early, made some nice plays, made some bad plays. I don't know. Maybe the chat's going to be in vehement disagreement with me. I mean, you lose because you don't make shots, and LeBron James and Anthony Davis, or LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I don't really know what more there is to say. CT Pittman, RJ Barrett is him. Enough said. Yeah. Just great stuff. What can you say? 21 years old. I said it on the halftime Zoom. I'll say it again. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season, who they're going to trade, who they're not going to trade. I'm not going to say that I don't really care, but they have a guy in Barrett. They have a couple other kids that we like that are going to be good. Some of them are good right now. RJ is not. It's not like, okay, we have our number one, let's move on. But you got a big piece of the puzzle, really big piece of the puzzle. And again, he's doing this on a team that is really, I don't even think it's best suited for his talents. Fred Katz had a great tweet earlier tonight. What it would be like to see RJ Barrett on a team that played fast. Hint, hint, De'Aaron Fox. Kevin Danishevsky. Well, John, I think you know where I'm going with this. This one, D. Smith style. How do you leave Nerlens and Kemba out there forever, but IQ gets 5 minutes? Again, I thought IQ played his worst game of the season. He was bad. I was actually not surprised at all that he didn't come in the second half. As far as Kemba, look, no one was complaining in the first half, and especially the first quarter when the ball was pinging around and like Kemba was doing just enough. And then Kemba turned back into a pumpkin in the third quarter. And Burks was the first sub in the third quarter. Burks for Kemba was the first guy that came in. And by the way, Kemba only played 24 minutes. Burks ended up playing 30. So he played the backup more than the starter. Again, Noel, I talked about already. I think that has more to do with the Mitch conditioning issue. I'm. You have a 21-point lead. You got to win the game. It's on the players. That's just the way it is. Forgotten NYC. Oh, we got some more tips. Tibbs inconsistent on keeping in Alec Burks and Fournier, despite both shooting 4 for 15 from 3. Almost made me punch a wall. If Burks isn't gone next week, I'm done. Okay, well, you may have to find a new team because he may not be gone. They're not going to give him away. The players don't hit shots, and it's on the because the coach has nobody hit shots tonight. Nobody hit shots, and the guys who hit shots were in the game. I don't know who does he have. I mean, what do you want to see? Deuce? You want to see Cam? You want to see who else they have on the bench? Am I forgetting? No, I guess that's it. I don't know. You want to see Jericho? Hit shots, play with pace, win the game. It's not on the coach. Blow a 21-point lead. It's not on the coach. That's on the players. Wixel Metellus, 31-13, third quarter. Wow. I don't know why you guys even watch me anymore. I seriously don't, because I must be watching different games than you guys with or I'm just so clouded by my belief that Tibbs, Tibbs is the guy that had this team coming out and scoring 42 points. If they make shots, they do well. If they don't make shots, they don't do well. It's not that complicated. But of course, you blow a 21-point lead, you got to blame someone, and God knows you can't blame the players that are on the court. Let me finish reading the comment. Tibbs has got to make some subs in the third quarter, or at least take Kemba out. Also, 10+ missed free throws and some low IQ mistakes. Some good effort here and there, at least. Yeah, I mean, again, who does he have on the bench? That's so great because Quickly played so well in the first quarter. You wanted more Grimes. I mean, you got Grimes in the game, and Grimes didn't hit a shot. I don't. Who do you want? Goodness gracious. To Mello from Toronto. No matter the outcome, RJ showed casuals and national media that he's a grown man, relentless worker. Yes. It was good that he did it on national media. Andrew texting me to take a deep breath. We want them to keep watching. I don't really give a fuck who keeps watching. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and if you don't want to watch, go the fuck and watch any of the other people who do this. You want to put this on the coach? It's wrong. This does not go on the coach. Come on. Give me a fucking break. Let me finish reading the comment. Yes, it was nice that RJ Barrett had a nice game on national media or national TV. But we shouldn't need to have him have good games on national TV because anyone who's been paying attention knows that he's good. And knows that he's coming, and yeah, but it was good to see. Burks, Kemba, Noel got to get moved. Again, they could get moved if someone wants to trade for him. I'm not sure who wants to trade for him. The future is bright. Next couple of days will be interesting. I agree. I think they will be sellers. They should be sellers. Invest in the youth. Robert Cross, thrilled to watch IQ, Reddish, Grimes, Obi, etc. Rot on the bench, #53 wins. You're going to get all the kids, all right? You're going to get all the kids in the last 20 games of the season, and they're going to lose a lot of games, and everybody's going to get your wish, all right? There's 30 games a season. The guy's trying to win the game, You don't tank with 30 games left. It's not done. Nobody does it. Unless you're a team that intends to tank from, game one. You're a game out, whatever it is in the play-in. I know it's unrealistic. I know it's a fool's errand at this point. But again, there's more issues at stake here. It's accountability in the locker room. If guys are wait until after Thursday. Wait till they make trades, and then you're gonna get who you want to get. But right now, he's gonna play the guys most deserving to play, and the guys who are most deserving to play are the guys who played tonight. Steven Cordero, best outcome. RJ was great, Randle was good, and it gives the front office more incentive to move vets to save tips from himself with his head scratching rotation. Again, I must be watching different game. Matt Smith, I love Grimes' quick release. But am I crazy to think when he's open, he speeds his shot up way too much? I like the quick release, but I feel you there. Also, from Matt Smith, love to see Cam so supportive of RJ tonight. Those reports of distaste seem to be BS. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that distaste is the right word. I just think the reports were that they weren't like the best of friends in college, which it's fine. Peter Menges. Tibbs outcoached by Vogel, who may get fired. He was outcoached by the guy who had LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Malik Monk go off for 29 points. And his team, the guys that he had out there, made 6 threes in the last 45 minutes. So, excuse me, that's wrong. 6 threes in the last 49 minutes. If you have an NBA team and you make, by the way, the threes were all good threes. None of them were like maybe one or two. Like Fournier had a quick one that wasn't the best shot, but I think that was late in the clock. If you're a basketball team and you make 6 out of how many of the last, they took 38, so minus the first 6, so 32. So they made 6 of their last 32 threes. All of them were good threes. Like, I understand the pace slowed down a little bit. But what coach in the league do you think, after his guys performed very well in the first half, he's going to watch 4 minutes or 5 minutes of basketball and see a few missed shots and all of a sudden be like, oh, the guys are missing now. I got to empty my bed. Like, what sport are you guys watching? My fucking Christ. Hush Zoo. Another one. Lakers adjusted. Tibbs runs it every play in the third through Kemba and Randle. Well, it's the point guard and it's the guy who demands doubles. Plays Burks and Noel extended minutes, no IQ, only to get bailed out, ironically, by our youngest player. Tibbs masterclass. Okay. Manny Campos. How do we score just 14 points in the second half and overtime, and 44 points in the second half and overtime after scoring 71 in the first half, and waste RJ's best game of his career? So frustrated. Because they missed shots and they played with less pace. Again, that's on Randle playing with less pace in the third quarter, which is why I said he had a good game. He did not have a great game. And it's on, Kemba Walker being a shell of himself. Kemba Walker doesn't fit with the team. Again, if you want to blame what happened in the third quarter on someone, blame it on the front office for believing that Kemba Walker had anything left. Blame it on the front office for thinking that Kemba Walker was a good fit with Julius Randle. Blame it on, that's where the blame should go. He's the only healthy point guard on this team right now, other than Deuce McBride is a rookie. And Emmanuel Quickley, who, by the way, I thought it was interesting in the first half when the Knicks had that big lead. Jeff Van Gundy mentioned 2 players by name when he said Randle holds the ball, and saying what they weren't doing tonight, that Randle holds the ball too much or has held the ball too much all season long. And he also mentioned Quickley there. So we always go back to this issue of why isn't Quickley starting? Why isn't Quickley starting? Why isn't Quickley starting? Well, I think you saw tonight why Quickley isn't starting. It wasn't good. He's not consistent. He's not ready. He's not hitting shots right now. That's how you score 44 points in second half and overtime. You miss shots. Your offense slows down. You don't have a real point guard anywhere on the roster. Derrick Rose is hurt. Like, that's how you do it. Chris Kasner. Why play Burks 30? And in that 30, guard LeBron? I don't know. Because he was your best option. It's a thin roster. You don't have anybody better. Stevens Guillaume. Poor coaching in the third cost us this game. Tibbs made no adjustments. ISO Randle killed us. ISO Randle is a Randle thing. That's not a Tibbs thing. Tibbs is going to get up there on the podium after this game, if he isn't up there already, and he's going to say the same shit that he always says because he means it. The ball stopped moving. We went to ISO. The offense slowed to a halt. It infected our defense. Yada 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 yada. He's gonna say the same things he always says because that is the truth. He wants them to move the ball. That's not a Tibbs adjustment. That is Randle reverting back to the player that Randle wants to be instead of Randle being the best version of himself, which is what he was in the first half. That's not on Tibbs. That's on the player. Randle knows the best way to be. He's just not doing it. Matt, Aussie Knicks fan, had back surgery 2 days ago. Got a heap of pain meds to take home, but I might need to use the pain meds after that loss. LOL. Does the first half change any decisions we make prior to the deadline? No, I don't think so. Sam L. Burks farting the inbounds pass to Randle for the game-sealing turnover is emblematic of our need to start letting young guys cook, and I love Burks. Yeah, you're going to get your wish soon. You're going to get your wish soon. I'm excited, hopefully, to see a lot of Deuce McBride down the stretch of the season. I'm excited to see Cam Reddish. I'm excited to see Cam Reddish play some point guard. I'm excited to see all these kids play. Burks is here. Burks is still the best option there. It's sad but true. Again, you're talking about a team with Derrick Rose out. That's Derrick Rose supposed to be in there. That's Derrick Rose's role on this team was supposed to be the guy to come in and play essentially half the game and be in there during the key situations and be the backup point guard. He is injured. As a result, it has to be Alec Burks. And oh, by the way, I don't think anybody anticipated that Kemba Walker would be this bad. So that's why Burks is in the game. It's unfortunate because he does this so often and it's so bad and it is frustrating. I get everybody who's frustrated. I'm frustrated. It's a frustrating loss. You can only play who you have, and to play the kids. Okay, fine. When you're to the next stage of the season and you just don't care about winning games, that's fine. But they're not there yet. They're going to get there soon. Danny Gardner, what's going on, Danny? One's opinion of this game reflects your view on the season. If you think the Knicks are a playoff team, this stings a lot. But if you don't, there was a ton to be excited about. RJ showed some great stuff. I'm more the latter. I think we kind of realized a while ago this was not a playoff team. There's good stuff. Tough to have a team without a point guard. Tough to have a team without consistent shooting. And it's tough to have a team where you get just a lot of inconsistency from your quote unquote best player. Although I think that title is now probably shifted to RJ Barrett. And again, Randle was not great in the third quarter. Good game, not great in the third quarter. And it helped get the Lakers back in the game. Robert Cross with one more. Tibbs is more stubborn than that stool that keeps you glued to the toilet bowl. I don't know what to make of that. Drew P. If Collins got 5 for 125, what will RJ's deal be? RJ, if he plays like this for the rest of the season, RJ's getting the max. That's not even a question. Kevin Danishevsky back for another one. RJ was awesome, but still some things to nitpick about. There's always things to nitpick about. He's he's not the highest efficiency player. He was whatever he was. Was he 13 to 28 tonight? He was 6 of 9 from the line, but got to the line 9 times. You love that. 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Filled up the box score. Only 3 turnovers. There's always nitpicks, but again, 21-year-old, not gifted with Ja Morant's athleticism or anything like that. Has had to work on his shot a lot. I think for where he's at right now, you got to be thrilled. Kind of excited that there's room to grow with how good he is now. Fournier is so Manning. Fournier is the most Manning player on this team, even more so than Randle. Alex, just remember we could have had Arturas Karnisovas, but Dolan was too inept to do it and instead wanted an agent with zero experience to run the team. Wow. Okay. I mean, look, I didn't anticipate that this is what Kemba was going to be. I didn't anticipate that this is how Kemba was going to fit. Fournier has been one of the 2 or 3 best high volume shooters in the league over the last 13, 14 games. I'm not saying it's a value contract, but it's not a terrible contract. I don't know how Leon Rose gets the blame for this season. I'm not saying he did a great job, but that's a bit of a stretch. I gotta tell you, I did not expect there to be so much vitriol in the chat. I mean, it's directed at Tibbs, which I'm never surprised by because that's what people do. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm surprised. I mean, I guess when you lose a 21-point lead, there's going to be a lot of hate. Sean Ford, RJ got me to scream, boom, that's my Canadian. I definitely like whelped when RJ hit the shot. It's his team going forward. We lost this game in the third, losing Monk. Yeah, this team misses Derrick Rose so bad. Yeah, no, 100%. And again, that's Kemba losing Monk early, but again, that was in like the first handful of minutes of the third quarter. And like, sure, I get, yeah, you want to, I mean, could Tibbs have pulled Kemba after 3 minutes of the third? Man, that's a tough thing to do. Locker room wise, do it to one of your vets, do it to a guy who's like out there. He's, you know, they're going to trade Kemba Walker, or they're going to try to trade Kemba Walker. And if they're not going to trade Kemba Walker because they can't, they're going to bench him at some point. Kemba just has to be better. You know, he didn't play down the stretch of this game because he wasn't great, and that's his penalty. But again, if you pull him, here's the other thing. Everybody, what I don't really get, everybody who wanted these guys pulled, I guess, earlier in the third, or I guess Noel not to play as much in the third, like someone's got to close out the game. You know, as it is, the guys who were in there got tired. Like, yeah, Burks threw a terrible pass. Like, you know, maybe he got tired. Robert Boy ordered an RJ jersey after that game tying 3. Good investment. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be here for a while. So that's a smart move by you. William Ambler, longtime follower, first time posting. I love Tibbs, but has Mitch come in with 4 minutes in the fourth. Noel is not great. RJ has to touch the ball almost every time on an offensive possession. In regards to the RJ point, I mean, I think that's fair. Although, like, there's very few players in the league who touch the ball literally on every offensive possession. And the nice thing about RJ is the 3 has rebounded enough this season where, you know, he's a spot up threat. And like, here's the other thing about touching the ball on every possession. Give credit to this for RJ Barrett. Took on the assignment of guarding LeBron James and played 50 minutes despite having to guard LeBron James. I'm sure he tired out. That's why, like, I'm not gonna hit him for the 13 for 28. The guy clearly was tired, and you have to give him some possessions off. As far as the Noel thing, I agree with that. I thought that was the one error. I understand why they did it because he's more mobile with the high pick and rolls. But Anthony Davis was just eating his lunch. But then again, Anthony Davis eats a lot of guys' lunch. He's Anthony Davis. He got Mitch a few times. You know, Noel did not play well. I would have liked to see more of Mitch, for sure. But again, you're talking about a guy with admitted conditioning issues. And you start to get diminishing returns the more you play him. Sean Hardy, what's going on, Sean? Good to see you. 1, I jinxed it with the halftime Zoom. Sorry. Yes, you did. I was thinking about you when that was falling apart in the third quarter. 2, when Randle got that tee in the third, I had a bad feeling. And hey, the game was tied after 4 quarters. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Randle not being able to control his emotions is a frustrating thing. Okay. All right. Let's zoom back up here as the hold on. All right, Andrew, if they were coming in fast and furious, so I'm going to pick up with the first one that I see. And let me know what I missed. Jacob Reale, what's going on, Jacob? I feel the Knicks may ride the season out with Randle and then package him with their pick for either a star point guard or as a way to move up in the draft, assuming it's in the 10 to 13 range. I don't see them drafting there. I said it the other night on our town hall, shout out to all the patrons in here, that I'd be very surprised if the Knicks kept their pick if it was in that range. I just see them making a move. Maybe that's as good a thought as any, packaging it with Randle. I I think if they don't move Randle at the deadline, I don't think it's necessarily an indication that they believe in Randle long term. I just think they don't love any of the deals that are out there. In terms of packaging Randle with the pick for a star point guard, you're not getting any star. I mean, the only star point guard you're going to get, if you consider him stars, is De'Aaron Fox, and I'm not sure you need to package a lottery pick with Randle to get Fox. I wouldn't. I'm not sure if Fox has that kind of value. Because here's the thing: as much as Randle's frustrating, you saw him tonight. He was really good. He is really good. He can be really good. He just needs to choose to do so. This from Dom Cappuccini. I understand Randle didn't have an awful game, but is it time to tear that poster in half? Leave the RJ side. I was going to pull down the plate tonight, but I couldn't do it. He didn't do enough. Leave that RJ side intact as one would with a picture with an X in it. I've never been one to rip the picture in half and then like keep the side with me on it. That seems actually like even more. I'd rather just keep the whole picture. The ripped in half picture isn't as I don't know, something about that. But no, not yet. Not yet. We'll leave it up there for a little longer. This one from Jeremy E. What are the ideal and realistic pieces you would want to surround RJ with going into next season? I mean, I love the idea of him with De'Aaron Fox. I really love the idea of him with De'Aaron Fox. I think there's a world where he can work with Randle. If I had my druthers, I think I would probably much rather him. I would much rather him play with more of a star point guard, even a star point guard with shooting issues. Just because, again, shout out to Fred Katz for the tweet that he had. The notion of RJ on a team that plays fast, and you already got Obi, and you got Grimes, who moves, and Quickly, who I still trust Quickly. He just wasn't very good tonight. You already have the pieces of a team that could play fast, and then you could talk yourself into you're a star away. I'd love to. Oh, and the other. So De'Aaron Fox, and the other thing I'd love for RJ, and again, shout out to Benji for bringing this up on the last pod that we did together. Getting RJ a stretch five to play with is massive, massive. Which is why, again, I don't know what the health situation is with Miles Turner, but I still don't think that ship has sailed. I'm not saying before the deadline, but maybe over the summer. He would be RJ with a stretch five would just be devastating. Because if he's comfortable taking that above the break three, then you're not gonna be able to guard him. This from William Ambler: is Burks really our best inbounder, or is it because he passes it to Julius? I don't think they have a great inbounder. Again, I know that play was frustrating. You're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna sub in Kemba there and take out Burks, because then you got Kemba back on the other end defensively, and then they're going to hunt Kemba and just try to, and then get a switch on Kemba with LeBron, and then and they're going to double, and then ping, 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 open shot. As it was, they were kind of doing that, and that was even with Kemba off the floor. It would have been worse with Kemba on the floor. So I don't think you bring in Kemba Walker for an inbound. You just have to trust. You have to trust your player to make the inbounds pass, and Burks did not do it. The fact that this was not the first time he has screwed up an inbounds pass this year, I don't think is indicative of the fact that you can't trust him to make an inbounds there, and then Michael Morando: I know it's not fully on Tibbs, but benching quickly for the game for Burks is the problem. Accountability for some and not for others. I don't know. I mean, I really thought Quickly was bad. I mean, you guys know me. I love Emmanuel Quickly. Love Emmanuel Quickly. I'm incredibly high on Emmanuel Quickly. I think Emmanuel Quickly is going to be a big part of this team moving forward. I think there's a reason that they don't want to trade Emmanuel Quickly. I think they believe in Emmanuel Quickly. I'm still all in on Emmanuel Quickly. He was not good tonight. And if you have a second-year player who's not good, and you have a 10 or 11 or whatever year vet he is, Alec Burks, who has consistently been good, has started to rebound of late, I think it's okay to trust your guy there. Again, there's going to be lots of minutes for Emmanuel Quickly down the stretch of the season. This was not the game for development. This was the game to try to win. And I think Burks gives you the better chance to win tonight, given what Quickly showed in the first half. Obviously, they didn't win the game. So everything, you could second guess everything. Look, it's just the players have to play better. when you lose a basketball game, generally it comes down to the players that you play. And look, I think Vogel coached a great game. I think Vogel did well not to put in Westbrook at the end there. Lunas, what's going on, Lunas? Felt Kemba too much run and Cam IQ combined for 5 minutes. Well, Cam obviously didn't play because Cam's not playing until they get traded, until they make trades. And again, the way Cam has played in the minutes he's gotten, he has not earned the right to play. I don't know. Maybe he's killing it in practice. We just don't see it. RJ doing this in front of a national audience felt like one of those games where you recognize a star breaking out. I felt that way. I felt that way at halftime. I feel that way now. Hush Zoo. I changed my mind on RJ. His ceiling is in the heavens. That's fine. Again, I think the Crow agrees with you. IQ deserved to play. He's shown us he's a better second half player. Just odd by Tibbs. I thought he was really bad. Again, I would have to go back and watch it again. My gut feeling watching quickly for the 5 minutes was that he stood out as the one glaring negative on the court for the Knicks in the first half. I can't think of a half of basketball that I've come away feeling worse. Because here's the thing about Quickly. Like, he could miss shots. But I didn't think his process was very good. I thought defensively he really struggled. Maybe he would have come back and hit shots in the second half. But again, he's kind of been struggling. He hit the 2 huge shots the other night, and he was still 3 of 11 overall. Quickly's going to be fine. I think he's just in a little bit of a slump right now. If you want to say you think that would have won us the game? I don't know. Robert Cross, Robert's on fire tonight. This is his 4th Robert Cross, Mr. Hashtag 53 wins. First time, long time, John. Is it fair and reasonable to say that RJ Barrett's ceiling is in the top 10 Knicks of all time? Oh, goodness gracious. Is his ceiling in the top 10 Knicks of all time? Sure. Yeah, of course. Because the only, I don't know what your order is, but there's only really 5 absolutely unassailable guys in there right now. And that's Ewing, Reed, Frazier, DeBusschere, and Carmelo Anthony. After that, there's can RJ Barrett have a better Knick career than Bill Bradley or, Earl Monroe or Charles Oakley or I was about to say Charles Smith. He's already had a better career than Charles Smith. Than Starks or any of these guys. Yeah, he could, the guys from the 50s like Carl Braun or some of those old dudes. Yeah, he could have a better Harry, I was mispronouncing it. Harry Gallatin, I think is his name. He could get above all these dudes, but he needs to stay with the team and he needs to be good. For sure. That's on the table. Hold on. Jessica, what's going on, Jessica? Seeing RJ's progression has been my favorite part of the season. Mine too at this point. Besides seeing the kids shine here and there, I think Tibbs is great and doing his best with what he has. Let's go Knicks. You know what? I'll push back on that. I appreciate you saying that. Trying to throw me a bone here. I don't think Tibbs has been great this season. I think Tibbs has been fine. I think Tibbs has been fine. I think Tibbs last year deserved Coach of the Year because he got a group of very imperfect players to play as well together as he could have gotten them to play together. And this season, he has again taken a group of players who have underachieved, and he's done fine. He's done fine. But he has not. What Tibbs hasn't done, you can't control what the players do on the floor, and I think Tibbs every time he's looked for answers someplace, I get where he's looking for answers, but Tibbs' season is going to be defined by, the fact that we get this version of Randle 20% or 25% of the time, and we may come to find out that there's more going on with Randle than meets the eye, and that there's a reason why he's playing like this, and there hasn't, been more of whether it's accountability from Tibbs or more putting, changing the way Randle plays or anything like that. I don't know. We'll find all that out. But, I mean, listen, as a coach, you're going to go as far as your star player takes you. Frank Vogel was getting fired a few weeks ago. LeBron James comes back tonight, makes Frank Vogel look good. That's how it works out. But again, I don't think Tibbs has been the problem. Mark Sable, tough loss as a Knicks fan, not a bad day as a Duke fan. With RJ's game and Duke demolishing Carolina. Congratulations, Mark. Good to see you, by the way. Hope all is well. Would love to see AJ Griffin on this team if we fall into the lottery. They're going to be a lottery team. AJ Griffin, I think Prez over at the Strickland is very high on AJ Griffin. I think he has him as like in his top 5. I think it's going to be interesting because right now you got a top 4 solidifying with the big 3 or the 3 big guys, and then Ivy, and then you got Griffin in this group with like Ty Washington. I guess there's a kid from Wisconsin who's pretty good. 1 or 2 other players. Like it's there'll be players up there. We'll see if they take one of them. Vasilis Papas. Greetings from Greece. Go Knicks. Go Olympiacos. Did I pronounce that correct? Olympiacos. I hope I did. Greetings to you. Sean Ford. J-Mac, I'm with you on Tibbs. Thank you. It's not his fault. If we fire him, it's back to the dark ages. Again, you're preaching to the choir here. Still feel like Kemba is being showcased. Hashtag keep Tibbs. I guess maybe because I sat there and I watched miserable season after miserable season after miserable season. And I know I've said this before, but I have to say it again. With Hall of Fame coach after Hall of Fame coach, after Hall of Fame coach, come in here and just not get guys to be unselfish, not get guys to compete, not get guys to play like winning basketball. Go down the list. Lenny Wilkins, Don Chaney, former coach of the year. Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Fame player, looked decent as a coach in Indiana. Mike D'Antoni, Don Nelson, Larry Brown. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone. And it wasn't even just in the last 20 years. Like UB Brown was in here. Couldn't coach this team. Like Red Holzman had some bad years, in the latter part there. Like this organization has a way of chewing up coaches and spitting them out. I don't know if it's the pressure of coaching in New York and like the media and like everything, all the noise, like it gets coaches to divert. But I'll go back to what Van Gundy said about Tibbs earlier tonight. And people wanted Van Gundy fired once upon a time. Don't forget that. About what Tibbs or what Van Gundy said about Tibbs tonight is it's like this is going to test his mettle. This is going to test how much he's able to really stick to his guns. And like a season like this, it's really, really easy to give in and falter and just give in to pressure to do things that you don't believe in as a coach. Tibbs isn't doing that. Is it going to, I don't know, maybe that's going to get him fired. I have no idea. But, I've planted my flag. Alex, credit Vogel. He sat Westbrook after he tried taking the Lakers out of the game in the first half. Tibbs would have played Westbrook the second half. I mean, first of all, if Tibbs wanted Westbrook on this team, he would be here right now. RJ said afterwards, it's a game we should have won. 71 points in the first half. Westbrook played 29 minutes. He was in there in the fourth quarter. He missed some key free throws. Why was he in the game then? Vogel didn't take him out until overtime. So, I don't know what game you were watching. Whatever. One more from Mello from Toronto. Tibbs is not the reason why we lost tonight. It's two-time coach of the year. He's forgotten more basketball than any of us here will ever know. I agree. He's going to put guys out there that he's been given. I don't really have much more to add than that. Well said. Bolivar Valdiviso. I wasn't gonna drink tonight. I wasn't gonna drink tonight either. Again, I'm still on this diet. Uh, I can't wait till it's over. Cheers to RJ and Macri for being the most patient. I don't deserve any cheers tonight. I'm just a miserable fuck. Keep up the good work, man. Better times will come. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the drink. Yuri Pereira, thank you for the contribution. Although I can't see your comment. Don Cappuccini, what's going on, Dom? This team needs a steady starting point guard badly. Yes, yes, yes. Been watching some De'Aaron Fox film over the last several days. Been getting myself excited. He's really good. He could do things with the basketball inside the arc that no one else on this team could do, not even RJ. He's just so smooth and he's so fast. He's so crafty with the handle. He's become devastating from the mid range, which I didn't realize until I really started watching the film and looking a little deeper at the numbers. He's really good at the rim. You know, makes the right play, plays fast. I think with De'Aaron, it's about, do you attribute the defensive struggles of Sacramento? Like, how much do you put that on him? It's partially on him, that's for sure. But it's not all on him. I still believe in him as a defender long term. And then, the 3-point shot. Can you win with a point guard who doesn't make his threes? I don't know. But either him or Jalen Brunson in the offseason, I'd be fine with either of those guys. I'd be shocked if one of them wasn't the starting point guard on this team next year. I still can't believe Kemba hasn't been the answer. Bless you, RJ. Give that man a fucking point guard, please. I was trying to figure out what that was. Yeah, he needs a point guard. This whole team needs a point guard. A real point guard who could play with Randle. But again, that's the challenge. What's the point guard that could play with Randle? Is Randle still going to be here? We'll see. James Choi, what's going on, James? The game showed more than any how much we miss Rose. Let's full stop right there. If they have Derrick Rose, they win this game. And you could say that probably about 2. You'd say it about the Minnesota game. Any close game, they win with Derrick Rose. So let's give them 3 more wins, assuming that Derrick Rose either was not hurt at all or was not hurt for a long period of time. If this team has 3 more wins right now, they're 27-26. They're over 500. They're in the play-in, and the apoplectic nature of this season and so many of these post-game chats, it turns right around. But they counted on Derrick Rose. He's an older point guard. He got hurt. That's, yeah, sucks. It hurts. This one more from James Choi. This game showed the best this roster can be and the worst. Need to adjust the opponent adjustment. Need to adjust to the opponent adjustments. I mean, I think the adjustments for the Lakers when they started playing hard on defense, and I think the Knicks were not able. The Knicks threes were open threes. I thought they stagnated a little bit in the third quarter, but I thought their process on offense, especially in the fourth quarter, was okay. Was as good as it could have been. They got dribble penetration. They missed a lot of makeable shots. Like Alec Burks had that shot in the corner, missed. Quentin Grimes had a bunny, missed. How many of these guys? I mean, the free throws just miss. Some of the little sloppy turn, like just all things you point to, like you can't do those plays against a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and again a third guy in Malik Monk going off like this. Luke Shamoon, I couldn't appreciate you defending Tibbs more tonight. Anyone blaming him is out of their minds. They didn't hit shit after the first quarter. Again, thank you. I appreciate that, Luke. They hit 5 3-pointers in the first 4 minutes of this game, and they hit 6 3-pointers in the last 49 minutes of this game. They shot 39.8%. They shot under 40% in this game and under 30% from 3. You just, you know, and again, like they're good shots, you know. Like I'm thinking, how many of those threes were bad shots? I mean, I could count. Feel like one Burks shot was probably a little rushed. There was definitely at least one Fournier shot, maybe two Fournier shots that were not great. Um, that's about it. You know, they were 11 of 38 from deep, and 39 of 98 from the field, and 10 missed free throws. Jose Rodriguez. We just played a game on ABC Primetime with a backup shooting guard playing the majority of the second half point guard minutes. It's a personnel problem. It's not on Tibbs. I appreciate everybody coming out of the woodwork now to make me feel like I'm not crazy. Again, I go over the hill to defend Tibbs. Because it's in my nature. It's in my, Tibbs basketball DNA is to stick to his guns. It's in my basketball DNA to stick to a guy who believes in sticking to his guns and doesn't waver. That in and of itself is a philosophy, is like not wavering. And some people look at that and they're like, that's a lack of adjustment. That's a lack of versatility as a coach. And I think some of that is fair. I just don't think tonight was the night to have that criticism. ML Nair. What's going on, ML? It's clear that when they gave the ball to Randle to start the offense in the third, the ball slowed and they lost momentum. The fourth, they let Burks start the offense and the ball moved again. Yeah, but again, I put that as much on Randle as I do Tibbs. Again, Randle, like, Tibbs has never tried to beat around the bush, and Obi Toppin said the quiet part out loud in a press conference earlier in the season, and I don't know if he's supposed to say it, but he said it anyway. The entire offense is just read and react. It's read, react, read, react, read, react. That's all it is. And it works when they're playing like they were in the first half, and that involves just playing with pace. Get the ball, move the ball. Get the ball, move the ball. Move yourself, move the ball. When you got an open shot, shoot it. It helps to make the open shot. When the offense bogs down, that's like the play. Like, again, if you're Julius Randle, you have to be better than that. And again, he had a good game, but not a great game. And the part of it that made the game go from great to good is why they lost. And it's incredibly frustrating. And if they had a real point guard who was used to doing this, they win the game. Forgotten NYC. It felt like I was getting stabbed by 1,000 needles watching this offense being run without a point guard. We need one so bad, man. I can't take this anymore. I listen. It's horrible. This week, I got to on the top 75 Knicks of all time. I got to Mark Jackson, and I got to come in either Monday or I should say tomorrow. It is past midnight. Coming either Monday or Tuesday, Michael Ray Richardson. And, since Frazier, they've had Michael Ray. They've had Mark Jackson. You want to throw Rod Strickland in there? But again, Rod Strickland, basically Jackson's backup and it was a season and a half before they traded him. It's been too goddamn long. The fact that I had to put Charlie Ward, who I love Charlie Ward, as my, I don't know, I forget what he was. Was he like 32 or 33 or 29 or what? Are you somewhere in there? That high on the greatest Knicks of all time list is an absolute indictment on how long it's been since this team has had a real point guard. And it's the 10-year anniversary of Insanity this week and next week. We've had these little brief glimpses, Raymond Felton in the first half of the 2010-2011 season, especially. We got last year of his career, Jason Kidd. It's like, you get all these little stopgaps. We thought Kemba was going to be the guy, and it's just it's what's held this team back for 45 years. Joseph John. Randle's most improved player year is roasted by you as Fugazi. Fugazi is a who's he, is a was he? But don't hold the same standard to Tibbs for Coach of the Year. Please tell us what defensive adjustments he made today. Defensive adjustments he made. Again, it's Jeff Van Gundy told you on the broadcast. He said it. Like, it wasn't an issue with the defensive game plan. The defensive game plan is when Noel was in the game. That's why he was putting Noel in there, because he was trying to, because Lakers were getting whatever they wanted with the high pick and roll at some point, whether it was Monk or LeBron. So you need to do something to counter that. So you either bring the help from the big, which Noel was doing, and then he tried to get back, and he was doing that fine. But then Anthony Davis was just taking advantage of him, so he eventually had to put Mitch on the floor. Mitch isn't as good as that, so the help needs to come from somewhere else. And then the big who's back, which is Mitch, needs to be there in time, and Mitch was not there in time. Throw in the fact that their transition defense was not great tonight. Throw in the fact that their defense in the first half, again, had about 4, 5, 6 possessions where they just let up and gave the Lakers easy buckets. And again, you're going to look at the defensive rating, because this is a pretty high-paced game. You're going to look at the defensive rating in this game, and you're going to say it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. I'll tell you that much. But again, like, throw all that shit out the window. It's LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And Malik Monk going off for 29 points. Like, those guys are really freaking good. They're really freaking good. They're really good. I don't know. The defensive adjustment is take Kemba out of the game and don't put him back in, and have a bigger guy out there, and that's what he did. Hush Zoo. Thoughts on Ish Smith stopgap for us? I saw that report. It's not it can't be a true report as it was stated, because Ish Smith doesn't make enough money to be traded for Kemba Walker straight up. As far as if they do trade Kemba to Charlotte for like Ish Smith and I guess like Nick Richards or whoever their backup center is, or what's the other guy, the other center from Duke, Vernon Carey. One of those contracts would be needed to make the money work. Like, to be honest with you, I don't want to see it. I like Ish Smith, but I'd rather just give the minutes to Quickly and Deuce or Rose. And they'll shut if the season goes the way it's going, they'll shut down Rose at some point too. Like, let those guys get reps. That's what I'd rather see than Ish Smith. Sam L. John, it's not that the young guys would be better. It's that it's clear we need to start developing chemistry with players other than Burks and Noel. That's fair. I completely agree with that. You do at some point need to lean into the guys who may have a chance of being here long term. It's not that time yet. It's not that time yet. And that time is going to come sometime between Thursday night and 2 to 3 weeks after Thursday night. The long-term core of like the players who are going to be here, if and when, God willing, this team is great and a contender, like, I hope a lot of these kids are going to be here. If I had to bet my life on it, I would say it's going to be RJ, and it's going to be maybe one or two other guys. Like, the notion that we need to start building up the chemistry with like Deuce and Quickly and Obi and Cam and like all these, like, yeah, sure. But it's more just about getting them time and getting them reps and like increasing their trade value. Because a lot of these guys are eventually going to be gone. When they again, if all goes according to plan, when they trade for someone who's actually going to be able to take them over the top. But at the same time, I understand it's frustrating because who the fuck wants to watch, what did they go tonight? Who the fuck wants to watch Evan Fournier go 5 of 14 and throw the ball to the wrong team? Who wants to watch Alec Burks go 2 of 7? Although he did have 12 points because he got to the line a lot. I really did think Burks played an okay game. 6 rebounds, 4 assists. CT Pittman, It was cool to see LeBron giving RJ his props at the end of the game. Game recognizes game. I noticed that too. I love that. Um, and then Bondi just tweeted this out. RJ Barrett said he asked for the assignment against LeBron. You could argue. I mean, I know he didn't shoot it that well, but again, you could argue this was maybe the best game of RJ's career. It's in the cards. This from Jason M. Apparently, Frank Vogel said after the game, "We didn't make so much defensive adjustments. We just cleaned up what we were doing early." Yeah, I mean, the Lakers weren't defending. That's the adjustment. Try. You got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on your team. Try. Try hard. That's the adjustment. Stephen Codd won $75 on Prize Picks. So here's $5 to say there's way too many couch coaches here. Y'all think you know more than an NBA coach. Wild, get him Macri. Look, I'm dumber than anybody. I get frustrated not because I think I know better than anybody else in here. I get frustrated because I recognize that I am an idiot and that Tom Thibodeau is much smarter than me, and I trust him to do his job. We've seen bad NBA coaches. Like David Fizdale was not a good NBA coach. Like Byron Scott was not a good NBA coach. I'm trying to think of other like really egregious examples. And like some coaches like really get in their own way. Like when Larry Brown was here, like that got pretty ugly. But most coaches are like pretty good at their job. Like, they want like Frank Vogel fired. Frank Vogel won a championship 2 years ago with a team playing a style of basketball that was considered by many to be completely anachronistic to the way the game is played today. But he adjusted to his roster. But the important thing was he had the pieces, and now, the pieces are like Russell Westbrook and, Trevor Ariza. And now they want him to lose his job. These guys are good at their job. The thing that I will take away always from the interview that I had with Van Gundy for the pod earlier this year was when he talked about Ewing and how so often Ewing would just save their butts on games where like, whatever, it wasn't going well. And he said Ewing would do things that only our coaching staff and the other coaching staff would recognize in terms of how like we weren't doing what we were supposed to be doing, or like they were whatever it was, but like Ewing would save their ass. And when but the part of the comment that stuck with me is like stuff that only us and the other coaching staff would recognize. Like, I don't know. I just trust that these people who get paid lots of money to do their job are pretty good at their job. Yuri Pereira, is there a possible trade package for Fox without sending Randle or RJ? Tibbs is doing his best, but missed free throws are really frustrating. Yeah, completely agree. Is there a trade package for Fox without sending Randle or RJ? If you sent them like what would it take? They need a young player and multiple first-round picks. So Fournier for salary. It would be Fournier, someone else making a decent amount of money. So Noel, Burks, whoever, and then probably Toppin. I think that gets the money done. And then you're probably looking at this year's first and another future unprotected first. Would be my best guess at what it would take. I'm not sure I'm jumping up and down to do that trade if I'm the Knicks. I'm not sure that the Kings would take that trade. I don't know. I I think if they trade for Fox before the deadline, it's Randle is going out. Manny Campos, what's going on? Not a Tibbs apologist, but I can't blame him. Jew and Kemba are killing us, and he can't bench them. I mean, he did bench Kemba. Again, this was a 53 minutes were played tonight. Kemba Walker played less than half of those minutes as the starting point guard. He made, what was Kemba? 3 of 7 from the floor tonight. You know, let's see where Kemba's at after the deadline. Fans who want Tibbs fired deserves David Fisdale as a coach. Man, I didn't say it, you did. Dom the dentist, what's going on, Dom? Not gonna lie, I'm pissed we lost, but I had 4 same game parlays riding on 3 48 threes. You got that. And overs on points for RJ, LeBron, AD, and Julius. Lost my damn mind when Fournier hit that 3 with 30 seconds left. Congratulations, Don. I'm happy for you. I'm happy someone had a great night tonight. That makes me smile. I'm take it. Cheers to you, Don. And the Crow, cheers to you too. Robert Cross. On a serious note, I think some of us see more immediate potential in IQ, OB Deuce, etc., and are frustrated with their lack of playing time. Hashtag 53 wins. One more loss, and I, unfortunately, we're gonna have to potentially retire that. I mean, we'll keep it around, but so the Knicks need to go 29-0 to get to 53 wins. So the Obi thing again, he's not. He wants a rim protecting center in there, so it's Obi's immediately tied to Randle's minutes. In terms of quickly, again, I've been a really big quickly defender. I don't want to pull up his shooting numbers over the last recent stretch games. It has not been great. I don't know. As far as Deuce, look, if he wanted to start Deuce instead of Kemba, I'd be all for it. If he wanted to give Deuce Kemba's minutes, I'd be all for it. I think the reason why it has come this far is, again, we're so close to the deadline. I want to see what happens after the deadline. Kareem Edwards. What's going on, Kareem? Cam averaged 23 minutes per game, improving all his stats this year. How does he get no burn? Lakers having issue with young, high-paced teams. Love Tibbs, but damn. I just don't feel like he deserves Cam, or he thinks Cam deserves to play over anybody that's on the roster. I mean, yes, I know Cam's numbers were okay this year in Atlanta. He was not good for them. He was very poor off the ball defensively, made a lot of poor decisions offensively, dribbled into a lot of like fadeaway long twos. He got some run in the garbage time. I forget what recent game he got run. Didn't think he looked particularly good there. He'll get his time. I just like to insert Cam into that game tonight. Again, he didn't play in the first half, and they were great for most of the first half. You're gonna put Cam in to like give him a spark in the second half. I'm not seeing it. That's just me. Here's Quickly's last bunch of games, by the way. And again, I love Quickly. 0 for 1 tonight. 3 of 11 against Memphis. 1 of 5 against Sacramento. 2 of 6 against Milwaukee. 4 of 9 against Miami. 1 of 10 against Cleveland. 3 of 8 against the Clippers. 4 of 13 against the Pelicans. And 1 of 2 against Minnesota. And then the closest he's come to shooting 50% from the field was January 17th against Charlotte. He was 5 of 11. The thing that he brings to the table is shooting. And he hasn't shot it well. And that, if he's not shooting it well, it's, and he's still learning on the go to be a point guard, makes it tough to play in big minutes. Straight Shine. Why do we keep saying Tibbs plays to win when he doesn't make the adjustments to win? Burks and Kemba were not giving him the best chance to win again. So, you know, what's the star or what's the player he has on the bench that's going to be so much better? Kevin Danishevsky. Well, I disagree with your defense of Kemba Noel minutes. IQ was bad too. Agree 100% with Burks. I thought he was good tonight. 8 free throws is important. Yeah, I thought Burks was fine. Again, my issue specifically was if you're going to take out Kemba that early, you have to trust that you could cover those minutes for the rest of the game. Who are you covering the minutes with? And then Noel, I said, very top of the show. I said I thought that was a bad decision. And, but again, I also understand why he was doing it. Because it just gives you a little bit of a different look in the high pick and roll coverage. Okay. You guys are awesome tonight, by the way. Even everybody's saying, fire Tibbs. All right. Andrew, if I missed something, let me know. Thank you, Zach Rudebear, for the contribution. That's the most recent one I have. We're going to get to all of them. Apologize for there's a lot of action in the chat, in the super chat tonight. So trying to get to as many as I can, as quickly as I can. William Ambler. IQ shoots 37% from the field, can't get to the rim, and is undersized on defense, is a year older than RJ as a second-year player. Maybe he will grow into a reliable guy. I'm still high on Quickly, but everything you said there is true. Oh, look, Julius Randle took some blame tonight. Said, and I quote, too many mistakes in our half-court defense in the second half, and I'll take the blame for that. Thank you for taking the blame for something, Julius. We appreciate it. From Abdoulaye Diallo, RJ being better than just a 3-and-D guy is the silver lining to this season. Man, we desperately need a reliable starting point guard with or without Randle. I prefer without, and I'm not saying that to say trade Julius Randle for anything. I'm saying trade Julius Randle for value. And I think I'm at the point where if you can't get Fox and you can't get Harrison Barnes with a future unprotected first, I probably don't trade Randle at this deadline. Probably don't. Another one from Kevin Danishevsky. In my opinion, it is unfair to blame this on roster construction when your most consistent player, Rose, has been out. And the all-star you got for a sweet deal sucks. He's been very inconsistent. Yeah, I don't blame. Again, and I think who could have envisioned that the chemistry could be this bad? I certainly didn't. This from Rich Wolkowitz. Macri, I agree. This loss is not on Tibbs. Talent wins, and won tonight. Excited about RJ and hope we trade Julius and one more. Enough is enough. I would love to see Julius traded before the deadline. I have gone on record with that. I'm not going to back off of it, even though I thought he played a pretty good game tonight. I just like the look of this team better moving forward without Julius Randle on it. But you saw tonight how devastating he could be as an offensive player. I didn't even think his defense was bad. I thought his defense was fine. I actually thought he competed pretty hard on the defensive end. Like there are, I'd rather a more traditional style. Give me a point guard who runs the show. It's just easier. It's an easier fit. This from Dom Cappuccini. I have a friend who can't stand Evan Fournier, and is incensed that the front office passed on DeMar just to pay Fournier $10 million less. That's fair. DeMar DeRozan's really good. I'm not sure how DeRozan would have fared with Randle and RJ. This is one of those things that maybe it's like, you take the silver lining, happy accident, didn't get DeMar DeRozan, got Fournier instead. Did it give RJ more of a chance to flourish as the real number one? Would that have happened with DeMar DeRozan who was, starting the All-Star game? I don't know. So maybe happy accident. This from Danny Hart. Hi, Danny. When teams switch on the Knicks like the Lakers did in the second half, how should the Knicks counter without just reverting to Randle ISOs? Yeah, the way to counter switching everything is to find the matchup advantage. I mean, that obviously that goes without saying. The problem is that the Knicks only have two guys who could take advantage of switches. Randle's the obvious one, which you're referencing. So you're saying without just reverting to Randle ISOs. The other way is to try to get RJ switched onto someone that he could take advantage of, which again, I thought they did a pretty good job of. Like, again, RJ Barrett took 28 shots tonight. Like, it's a shit ton of shots, So, and by the way, in addition to the how many assists did he have? 4 assists. I thought there were a lot of in the third quarter, especially when the Knicks were struggling on offense. I thought RJ made some nice passes there down the stretch of the third quarter, and guys just missed those shots. So I thought, but again, you don't have any other advantage creators. Your third best advantage creator, a guy who could take advantage of a switch at this point, sadly, is Alec Burks. And guess what? Alec Burks tried to do that too over the course of the second half, and he got to the free throw line a bunch. So I think you're doing what you can. The only other thing is just when you get the switch, shoot over the top of the defense, which they tried to do and couldn't buy a basket. Like, that's why good defensive teams switch everything, because it's going to, if you have an offense where there's just not a lot of talent, and like, say anything you want about Tibbs or anybody else, like, this offense was ranked 23rd last year or 24th last year, and they're ranked like 24th or 25th this year. Like, there's just not a lot of offensive talent on this team. There's nothing really we could do other than get better offensive players. Now, to everyone who has been pining for Cam, that's why they traded for Cam. That's why the front office traded for Cam, because Cam can create advantages. And we're going to get to see him do that soon. Hopefully, his decision-making and defense is up to par. This from Zach Rudbear. Thanks for the contribution. We appreciate it. Okay, let's keep it going. You guys are amazing tonight. Thank you, everybody who came. Thanks to everybody in the super chat. Thanks to everybody who participated. Even if you are saying I'm an idiot, we appreciate it. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Keith Alston, what would you give up for Mo Bamba? The Magic are looking to move him, and what draft prospects are you looking at? So Mo Bamba is a name that we haven't heard a lot about, at least as far as rumors. You want to talk about a guy who solves issues for this team? Mo Bamba protects the paint, can block a shot. Obviously, the guy is I think the longest wingspan in recorded history at the combine, and he can hit a three. Now, if you trade for Mo Bamba, there's a reason that you could get Mo Bamba, and that's because Mo Bamba has been a maddeningly inconsistent player over the course of 4 years in Orlando. He's a little soft. He's in and out of games. He's just, there's a reason why he's going to be available if he's available. What would I give up? I'm not giving up a first. And I'm sorry, I'm not giving up one of our young players. I'm just not doing it. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up Grimes. I'm not giving up Obi. I'm not giving up quickly. I mean, I don't. Do you give up Deuce and the Detroit second for next year? Like, it's something like that. It's like Deuce and the Detroit second for next year, and maybe a salary. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's how you salary dump a Noel or a Kemba to Orlando. And, you give them Deuce and you give them the Detroit second that they have. I think it's next year. Do you want to do that trade for Mo Bamba? For the right to pay Mo. That's the other part of it. You're trading for Mo Bamba with the right to pay Mo Bamba in restricted free agency this year. So, and again, you're not going to have a big runway to see what Mo Bamba is. You're going to have 30 games. You're going to have 30 games to make a decision on whether to pay this guy. You're going to wind up paying him probably the Robert Williams contract. And then you got Mitch coming up too. So now all of a sudden you're investing $100 million in two centers, that we love what we've seen from Mitch. But again, I don't know. Would I do it? Man. Stretch fives who protect the rim do not grow on trees. I don't know, man. I think about it. And then as far as what draft prospects I'm looking at, as far as where we're probably, if they could get up into the top 4 and get the Ivy kid, that'd be awesome. Jabari Smith from Auburn looks like he could be a real special player. Holmgren, obviously, you want to talk about a stretch 5 who protects the rim. Guy's pretty good. But they're probably going to be in the range of like a Ty Washington or an AJ Griffin. I think both of those guys have shown enough promise to get you excited. We'll see. Kevin Wilson. Well, Tibbs hasn't been perfect this season. Guaranteed if someone else coached, this team would be worse and people would bitch about that guy. Well, listen, people are going to bitch about whoever the coach is if they're losing. Doesn't matter who's on the team. Chad Cohen. What's going on, Chad? Was watching the Duke game earlier and would love to pair AJ Griffin with RJ and wish Mitch could hit 12-footers. Mark Williams, similar otherwise. Yeah, I was watching earlier tonight a little bit of Miami, Charlotte. Just watching Bam Adebayo on offense. The fact that he could just make every play on the short roll. The fact that he could shoot a little 12-footer. It's just such a luxury to have that kind of guy. And the Lakers, to their credit, not really playing any centers. He went to DeAndre Jordan tonight, and that didn't work out so well. You got to have a center nowadays who could do all of the things. Maybe not hit threes, but all of the other stuff. I like AJ Griffin. I think AJ Griffin would be a nice pick for this team. Keith Alston asks, should we try to trade up in the draft? Typically speaking, teams who get a chance to draft a guy that they think is a special player are not going to trade down. Or they're going to require way too much to trade down. Ed Paula. For as much as we say we need a point guard, this offense is not really built for a point guard to make plays. I agree with that, but again, my counter to that would be, how would they adjust if they had a point guard who could make plays? And the counter to that would be Randle would be willing, right? Because again, someone's got to be Chris Bosh, right? Is Julius Randle willing to be Chris Bosh? I have my doubts, which is again why I will revert back to what I said before. I think the move is to trade Randle ultimately. Yeah. Nice comment from Josh Eberly here about RJ Barrett. Adult Donkeys, Berry Grateful, the legend continues. That is a great name. Let's just fire our coach and front office every year. Yeah, basically. CT Pittman. Steph Bondy reported RJ asked for the assignment to guard LeBron. Wow, I'm really behind in the super chat. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to give everybody their time. I love this kid like he was my own. I love him too. Mr. Crow says hi. Hush Zoo. Tank for Bronny. Stopgap 40-year-old LeBron James gets us a ring. Maybe. Shout out to the Patreon pod in which we came up with like fake LeBron trade stuff a few weeks ago. James Piscal. Julius hitting those threes and step back jumpers early really had me reminisce last year. Yeah, that's the other part about the 71 point or 72 point first half. Julius was hitting shots. He was 2 of 4 from deep, and he was hitting everything from inside the arc. Um, Julius hit shots. They're a better team, you know. Just a maddening player sometimes. Yeah, he is. He is. All right. Okay. Okay. I think we got a couple more super chats in here. I'm gonna get to. Oh, we may only have one more. Okay. Well, it's been nearly. I think is this Andrew? Is this our longest live stream of post game live stream of the year? I think it might be. Go figure. Keith Alston. I think this might finish us up. What does your realistic trade for Fox look like? If I'm the Kings, I'm probably not trading Fox unless I get Randle back. I think with Fox and Randle, I think both teams ask for a first round pick in that trade. I think the Knicks ask for a first, and I think the Kings ask for a first. I think where it ends up is probably the Knicks saying, all right, so here's how I think it goes. I think the Knicks, well, see, here's the thing though, right? If the Knicks in a Fox trade are the team that is willing to give up draft compensation, and maybe it's only the Mavericks pick, but if they're willing to give up the draft compensation, you could then turn around and say, all right, well, then the Knicks should require Sacramento to take on more salary. Okay, so then what salary is going to be able to help the Knicks in the trade? Well, Fox makes more than Randle. So it's not like trading Randle and Kemba or Randle and Noel for Fox is going to alleviate your salary situation next year. The only thing that's going to alleviate your salary situation next year is if you trade Randle and Fournier for Fox and Tristan Thompson. But then all of a sudden, if again, presuming that you're the team that gives up the draft compensation in the deal, so then you're being like, all right, so we're giving up draft compensation to trade away Randle, who might be a better player than Fox, and we're trading Fournier, who, again, maddening player. Look at his effective field goal percentage. Look at his 3-point percentage. Look at how many of his shots are unassisted. Look at I was going to say Gary Trent Jr. trade, the Norm Powell trade that just went down. Like, Evan Fournier is not a trade, is not a piece that you should be paying an asset to unload. So, like, where does that leave you if you're the Knicks? Do you really feel like that's a trade that you have to do? Randle, Fournier, but then again, what say if it's Randle, Fournier, and the Detroit second for Fox and Tristan Thompson? If you're the Kings, do you do that? Probably, right? You probably do that. Fournier kind of gives you a little bit of what you're missing from Bogdanovich not being there. You still have Harrison Barnes. Maybe you turn around and you flip Harrison Barnes in a separate trade. I don't know. It gets complicated. It gets complicated. I'm not really, but again, that's if the Knicks want to be a cap space team this year, which I'm not even sure the Knicks want to be a cap space team this year, because who do they want to be a cap space team for? They want to be a cap space team for Jalen Brunson. There's no one else out there that like is obvious, like we're going to be a cap space team for this guy. And if they trade for Fox, do you need to then go out and pay Jalen Brunson the Fred VanVleet contract? I don't know. Maybe you want to. I wouldn't necessarily hate that. But then all of a sudden you have $50 million a year tied up in the point guard position. Okay. To say nothing of Derrick Rose, but again, I don't know what's going to happen with Derrick Rose. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to construct a trade package for Fox that makes both teams feel okay about it. Which is why, gun to my head, I don't think that they trade for De'Aaron Fox before the deadline, as much as I believe the teams have had discussions. Yeah, that's really all I got. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. We just crossed the 90-minute threshold. Unbelievably, it is 1:00 in the morning on Sunday here. Crazy game, disappointing game, frustrating game. But thanks for everybody for tuning in, and we will see you with some more action on Monday. All right. Until then, peace out.